And so continue to align, continue to relax. You're in from the storm. This is your sacred space. So I really invite you to value your time with me and to really deepen in your sacred space. We have a unique challenge that is also so blessed and so potently bestowed with divine presence. But never before have we mastered awakening or enlightenment in the context of modern life. And so I say this morning to bring things into perspective. In the early years of my awakening, I had a very special teacher whose name was Paramahamsa, and his presence is past in his flesh state at this point, but he was a master of the Tantric University of New Delhi. And he truly blessed me by saying, "I have no envy of your duty, your mission in the West." Because there is enormous expertise and yet such a lockdown in the mind as our refuge. So what I'm here to truly offer is that awakening takes place in many stages. And awakening and mastery are not the same thing. And irregardless of what you understand about awakening, and irregardless of your interest in enlightenment, I don't think any of you seek to have less mastery in your everyday life. You all seek to have greater mastery in your everyday life. So you can feel the divine presence, transmission begin to move in, to begin to saturate the sacred space that we are holding together. But I'm asking you to embrace yourself with the understanding, with the compassion that never before have we brought through full awakening or enlightenment or mastery in the Western world, in modern life, in the kind of challenges that each of us must walk through, including this Rishima, here in the modern world. And so taking a moment to embrace yourself, that you're one of the pioneers as the mantle is being passed from the east to the west. And this passing of the sacred mantle is a very literal divine providence. Of all of those monks, all of those rishis, rinpoches, dirbankayas, gurus, masters, lamas, gishis, all of them have held for thousands and thousands of years on our behalf. That mantle is passing to the West. So as I say this, you can begin to feel the divine force becoming more present, more palpable, more glorious. And so as you begin to appreciate how that path has been opened for you, and you're availing yourself of that light, that here in the West, dear ones, you are literally opening the lighted way for future generations. For future generations. I am a very hands-on grandmother. I am raising grandchildren in this abode of the Masters. And so this home is full of children and puppies and toys and busy schedules. And so my mission, my mandate is to bring enlightenment through into the family, into the workplace, and into the community. And to put mastery to work where your feet hit the ground. And yet to have no lessening of the grace of the divine, the presence of the divine, or the purpose of the divine. And so once again, awakening in and of itself is not mastery. It can indeed lead to mastery. But this is something that you must make a commitment to. And there are many, many, many New Age and very, very devoted types of individuals and souls that are moving in from all sorts of spiritual backgrounds. Traditional backgrounds, alternative backgrounds in terms of their spiritual growth, their path, and the cup that they have been sipping from thus far. Sometimes I call it the New Age smorgasbord. And all these things have put light in your wings as a soul. Much light in your wings as a soul. And yet, do you truly burn for mastery? Do you really want your freedom? Again, transmission. More divine juice, divine light, divine energy moving through. Oh, the heart is starting to flutter. The soul is starting to trill. Those of you who are on the path of awakening are recognizing the trill, the vibration, the quickening. You are recognizing it naturally and instinctively. Enlightenment, dear ones, is essentially the mastery of time. And so I will offer you a jewel of empowerment. It is what you identify with that establishes your octave of vibration. Your octave of vibration establishes your mastery of time. And your understanding of the planes of manifestation, from the individual to the group, to the community, to the nation, to the planet, to the solar system, to the universe, to the cosmic day. Those planes of manifestation. And where you find yourself in your own sphere of influence. You have two choices. Every moment of every day, every single experience, you have two choices. To identify in a time-bound identity, the identity of society, your nation, your family, your background, all of the patternings that have gone along with your time-bound identity. Or you have the opportunity to begin to fully embrace, celebrate, anchor, and live from your timeless identity. Your timeless self. Your timeless self. Your timeless self. And it is from your timeless self that you have the greatest influence both upon the details of your personal life, your loved ones, and the circumstances that you truly are mandated to be of influence. And so notice as you shift from the time-bound persona, the ego, if you will, to your timelessness that embraces all manifestations of your being, from the soul to the monad to the logos, beyond the logos to even absolute existence and beyond even that. It is then that we truly have a boundless sphere of influence that is radiating and shining out into the world. Take it deeply into your heart. It is your timeless presence that burns deep within you, and as you bring it in and live from it, it literally penetrates your entire physicality at the atomic level. At the atomic level. It begins to burn the sheaths away of the atoms in your body, and thus you become increasingly radiant. And you can see that you have radiance through which this transmission is moving. At the highest level of transmission teachings, it doesn't matter a single word that I am saying. It is the transmission of light that you are receiving. And you will receive it deep into your being to whatever degree you have been willing to enter yourself. And there the transmission will stir and arouse and bless and awaken. This is why your own deepening, your own inner work is so essential to the path. That inner work can be simplified. It can be simplified to making that choice between the time-bound persona, which is not the truth of your existence. It is a facet, but it is not the truth. It is merely a focal point in time through which your God Self is pouring forth its presence. Or you may shift gears to the dynamic presence of your timeless being, which automatically vivifies your entire aura. It automatically vivifies your entire aura, whereby you have the greatest influence in your personal life, and also to bring about your soul mandate, your contract, your agreement, your oath, whatever it might be. And so I am a teacher of the royal path. What is the royal path? The royal path is the path of the living light. It is the path of the lighted way. It is when you have surrendered your heart of hearts and your fidelity unto the throne, unto the divine. Fidelity unto the divine. This is when the divine penetration begins. The light begins to permeate everything. Your very flesh. And the first sheaths of the atom within your body burn away. And you become literally atomically awakened. Or in spiritual language, you become radiant with divine presence. When you become radiant with divine presence, that is when the tools and jewels of empowerment truly begin. That is when the city powers begin. That is when the adeptship of mastery begins. And that is when the lighted way begins, for which all the awakening prepared you for. And so we live in this glorious time of massive awakening all over the planet. And yet there must be those adepts who take mastery all the way into enlightenment. And the godship, the guardianship of divine service from the enlightened state. Can you do this? Absolutely. As I said, this radiance is not lessened by puppies and children and soccer schedules or any of the other things that I have plied myself in the thick of the fray. What is important is that we master modern life. And we will do it differently than sitting in the cave or the ashram. But it depends that we are very, very keen and alert to make that choice every day, every minute. Time-bound, imprisoned illusion of self. Timeless, liberated, full presence of self. Meditate, align, deepen. We will begin with this teaching, and from there we will begin to open the corridor and the pillar of light. Take it in. You have a new choice to be made today.